out kiddos. Never fun for anybody involved. Sorry if you're going through this, but it's not fun. The coolest thing is to watch these kiddos calm down, be a better expression of themselves. Because I'm telling you, mom and dad, it's possible, or caregiver, or parent, or friend, or whoever you are watching this right now, it's possible for them to calm down. It doesn't matter how many years you've struggled, doesn't matter how long it's been, doesn't matter if it's been from in utero and they're 18 now. It is possible for them to calm down, reintegrate, and find the most centered part of their being that they can get to and experience the higher access parts of their brain so they can experience the world at the fullest, and we will help them get there if you allow us. So here are the ground rules, the basic things. Nothing of this is casting out stress. It's only bringing balance to the body. It seems like semantics, but it's not semantics. We want to bring more balance to the system. We want to bring health back into the system. You can't just try and eliminate the stress. You have to bring in the calm and relaxation. And a lot of times when you bring in the calm and relaxation, the stress gets a little bit worse before they calm down. Totally normal. We see it all the time. When we meet you, we will step you through that. You must fuel the system. You must clear it out and let the body do what it needs to do. Okay? That's a synopsis. Here are common scenarios of stressed out kiddos. Hard mornings, after school blow-ups, lack of focus and unable to be productive, unwilling to try new things, doesn't want to leave the house, immature social age, gut issues, sleep disturbances, hard to go to sleep or hard to stay asleep, daytime accidents. Synopsis of some of the things you might experience with a stressed out kiddo, withdrawing themselves from your family unit, change in behavior towards family members, so many things. These stressed out kiddos then therefore become stressed out teenagers, then they become stressed out adults, and then we were never meant to experience consistent stress that we do in 2022. We can better adapt to the stresses of our world, and we'll talk about that tonight, but we were never meant to undergo so much stress, and it's going to bog down the system, and that's become a norm. We have to get out of that groove. So what's going on with stress? I'm going to help you understand the science a little bit behind the stress. Okay. Everybody's heard of sympathetic or parasympathetic, fight and flight, rest and digest. There's one other aspect of that we'll talk about right now. There's actually 3 tiers to that function. We think of fight and flight, rest and digest. Okay. We're going to flip those over and add one more on top of that. Okay. It's a 3-tiered system. First, we'll go into more of the parasympathetic function. Current neurology states that the rest and digest, what they believe to be rest and digest, is actually more of a freeze shutdown mode. Parasympathetic is more of a shutdown, overdrive, or massive healing mode that the system goes underneath when it's undergone stress for a long period of time. It's no longer able to fully adapt to stress, so therefore the system shuts down and defaults to more of a freeze state. Okay, frozen state, when it comes to stress, that's fight, flight, and freeze, is the next part of the sympathetic function. So we're making a step up, and we're going to include this all together. So freeze is when we're experiencing that stressful situation, deer in the headlights, unable to function. It is apathy. It is low energy. It is not a good state. Once we swing out of that, we get to more of fight or flight, where they're aggressive, they're angry, they're frustrated, they are unbalanced overall, they do not have organization, it's unorganized chaos, sleep is not good, meltdowns, tantrums throughout the day, digestion is, in some humans, some of these stressed out kiddos, is not doing great. Their immune system is lower. They get sick every month or every other month, and they get bogged down by that sickness, and it lasts for so long, means that their fight and flight freeze function of their central nervous system, the second tier, is dominant. They're not in that third tier of the shutdown mode, but we want to get them out of that. The last piece, the highest place that we want to get to, is this balanced state between the stress response, between the relaxed response. We're balanced in that state in between those. And therefore, when we're there, we get to access this part of our central nervous system that we're getting to understand. If you Google the vagus nerve, they're going to link the vagus nerve with parasympathetic function, which we've been taught about rest and digest. It's actually a different thing. If you want to dig deeper, look into the polyvagal theory. Vagal tone is that balanced state between those two modes. Therefore, we get to access the highest parts of our brain where we can get out of that stress. We can therefore begin to have things like emotional intelligence, long-term thinking, trauma processing, deepening of emotional relationships with those who are close within our life, showing affection, receiving affection. All of these things are when we have a high functioning vagal tone. We therefore get to access our prefrontal cortex at its capacity. And I'm telling you, if you're like, whoa, that sounds way beyond where my child is at, it is possible for them to get there. You will begin to get glimpses of that state. So let me give you an example. Sat down with a family the other day, like I've done this so many times, yet everybody's experiences are unique. Their child has been stressed out for quite a long period of time. And dad states to me, usually transitions are hard. Doing new things are hard, results in meltdowns and tantrums, and they won't work with me. They just shut down and they get so emotional. I can't work with them. However, since we've been following your guidelines, since they've been getting adjusted to activate that vagal tone, this little guy started school for the first time 5 days a week, new school, new kids. He's got one friend that helped along this process who lives across the street, but he started in his new school. First day started to have a meltdown, but took some deep breaths, went into the bathroom, pulled himself together, and has been doing great. Yes, he's been emotional from time to time with this new transition, but he's handling it well. He's not having meltdowns after school. He's not blowing a gasket after this day has happened. Why is that happening? His central nervous system is experiencing that highest tier, that high vagal tone. He's accessing his prefrontal cortex, and his nervous system is working the way that it was designed. It's beautiful. And we did none of that to cast out the stress. We just fueled his system with health and balanced his neurology, and he got there, which is beautiful. And I've seen that time and time again with the school setting, with things like daycare, with things like social interactions, with things like gut issues, with things like skin issues, with things like motor issues or development issues. All comes from these stressed out kiddos. All right, game plan. We want to bring more calm. We want to bring more balance. We want to bring more relaxation into their system. How do we do it from a neurological standpoint? Because stressed out kiddos comes from neurology. Our best way, the foundation, is consistent brain to body based chiropractic care, not traditional. I see kids and I rack and crack like I would from somebody else who would come off the street with back pain, neck pain, or headaches. Totally different stuff. Balance the system out, cause that kiddo to consistently be in that more relaxed, balanced state, and causes them to unwind and establish a new state of calm, balanced being. Okay, the foundation. What to do on top of that? Eliminate the sugar and the artificial junk. That's going to stress out your child's body and their nervous system. Artificial junk, if you turn any label over or it's GMO, get it out. Organic, non-GMO stamp on packaged goods, no artificial crap, get it out. Get the consistent sugar out. It's going to stress out their system. Focus on them having a bulletproof gut. Make sure their gut's balanced. If you know they have sensitivities in their diet, take them out, draw them out. If they have intolerances that cause more than just a sensitivity in their body, take them out. Consistently get them out of their system. Balance them out with things like ion gut. Make sure that you're giving them, if they've ever had, this is an arguable topic, but if they've never consistently had good bowel movements, it's probably a good idea to get them in a system of having a round of good quality probiotics as well on top of that ion gut to get their system balanced. When we have gut issues when it comes to stress, That's just one specific genetic expression of stress. That's my genetic expression of stress. If I'm stressed out, my gut's going to get out of whack, calm my system down, my gut gets back online. Just how my body exhibits stress. It's different in everybody. That's why I gave you all those different scenarios, because that depends on how you exhibit stress. So when we can balance out that gut, it therefore is the second brain. It's where most of our dopamine and serotonin, which are the short-term and long-term feel-good hormones that our nervous system works with. When that gut gets more balanced, we have more balance in that, and therefore it triggers back into the main number one brain, and that helps out too. You can't just balance the gut and not work on the brain with the consistent chiropractic care, but it will make a big difference when you do both at the same time. You work on both brains, main brain and second brain. Just those two things, your kiddo's going to be a different human being. We like things like supporting their system with supplements such as Mighty Minerals and Ion Gut and cod liver oil, and a really good multivitamin such as we like Smarty Pants because they have methylated folate when it comes to MTHFR. If you've never heard of MTHFR, look it up. That can be a part of your kiddo story. You can modify their diet to make them have better function in their system. Detox the brain and body, get the toxins out, get them functioning better. You hear me say this all the time. School time gets enough screens if they're in the public system. Get the screens out, especially around bedtime. Super duper important. Socialize them. Find those kids, because when we talk about social vagus, when we talk about the vagus nerve, vagal tone, right? It's also called social vagus, is because the socialization piece fuels that highest part of their central nervous system. So find the kiddos that they jive with the most and surround your child with them as they go through this change and transformation, because that's going to fuel their prefrontal cortex. That's going to fuel their central vagus. That's going to allow them to integrate and access those highest parts of their brain. So find them that kiddo or kiddos and consistently surround them with those. All of those things, put the reps in over and over and over again. I say this in all my webinars. It takes commitment. It's going to take a life change. It's going to take so much. There is no one magic bullet. In 2022, we want one. We want a magic pill, potion, lotion, therapy. There is not one. There's not one. There's a combination of commitment to transformation and change in your family that's going to allow your child to transform. Last one. Ending last, but one of the most important ones. Throughout all this process of your kid being stressed, mom and dad, you are probably stressed. I'm going to ask you to work on yourself, to calm yourself down, to better respond to your kiddos, to be a better expression of yourself for your family, so that you're not adding into the stress with your child. If you can be in more of a relaxed, adaptable state that's more emotionally stable, your kiddo's going to heal that much quicker. Your presence is their grounding force, or it throws them off because you're their foundation within the family unit. That social vagus, that vagus tone, that comes so much from when they let their vulnerability down in your house, what happens as well. So get under consistent chiropractic care yourself. Do all these things that I just listed out for yourself so that you can be the best expression for your kiddos and allow them to heal at their highest capacity. Let me go back. Everything relates to fueling their health, balancing their body, re-establishing the proper neurological function to better adapt their system to a stressful, toxic world. We know that to be best with a foundation of consistent brain-to-body based chiropractic care. Eliminate the toxicity, minimize the stress, and they will better adapt to stress, and they will be a calmer, more better functioning, happy version of themselves. Thank you for tuning in. Any questions, throw them in the chat. Send me an email, davidlutz@purelightfamily.com. I'd be happy to answer them. If you want to get your kiddos or your kiddo or yourself or your entire family scheduled, kiddos are 50% off for their initial visit this month at our office, or just mention this webinar here on out and you will get 50% off their first visit to see how stressed out their system is from our step-by-step process of looking under the surface with their neurological function, with our technology, with the things that we do through examinations, and then with the care that we begin after that. Thanks for tuning in. Be well.